Welcome everyone to eTalks, and today we have a very special episode as always. My name is Zainab Oyselik, and in today's topic we will discuss the diversity in the tech industry with a very special guest, the tech queen, Coach D, who is a former I reporter for CNN. She's a member of the FBI National Citizens Academy Alumni Association, and she was featured as STEM Woman of the Month in May 2021 by U.S. Senator Jacky Rosen. She spends her time as executive director for Nevada Help Desk, specializing in consulting, training, cloud communications development, computer programming, website development, multimedia, and social media services. And our moderator will be today Leila Akidik from University of Southern California. She's majoring in fine arts. She's interested in web designing, bullet journaling, and she's a fan of the Tech Queen. So I will give the floor to Leila and Coach.
Hi, Coach. We have someone very special in our event today. She has experience in almost every field in the realm of technology, and we're very honored to have her speak at our weekly show. How are you doing, Coach D?
I am doing well, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing really well. I'm really excited, a little nervous, but more excited to have a nice conversation with you. So I know Coach Dave from my internship experience as a high school junior, where she opened young tech lovers' mind into gaining experiences in various different fields in technology. I remember we did audio and video editing, social media marketing, website design, proficiency in high demand tools, coding, 3D design, virtual reality, and any other field that you can think of. Um, what was your vision when you started such a program, Coach D? Or how was it received by the people and community around you?
Can you repeat the question? I apologize.
Yes. So I know that you are at the head of a company called Nevada Help Desk, and
Mm-hmm.
you help the young people kind of gain experience in technology in various different fields. What was your vision when you started this? And how did the people around you and the community react to it?
Well, the vision was to give opportunities to young people, ages 16 and up, and to allow them the opportunity to help to acquire the skills necessary to fill the in-demand jobs, particularly in the industry of technology. And it was embraced very well in the state of Nevada and across the country.
Beautiful. So today, instead of the youth, we're kind of going to steer into women in technology and diversifying the field of tech. So before coming in, I did my research and I went through a few articles, among which one struck me. It was called Women in Technology, the Problematic Statistics and the Change That's Required. Hey, Coach. Can you hear?
Hi.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Connection.
So I did a little research before coming into the program about statistics on women in technology, and there was this specific article that mentioned that as of 2022, women only made up about 28% of the tech industry workforce. And I'm sure that as a woman in technology, you're aware of the shortcomings of diversity in various tech fields. Would you like to make any comments about that? About diversity and what you have experienced in the world of technology as a Black woman in tech?
Oh, yes. Wow. And those numbers are actually pretty high from when I started in tech over 43 years ago. So that's actually pretty high. If it's
Yeah.
28, wow. I'm interested in seeing is that global numbers or US numbers because that's extremely high considering when I entered the tech workforce. Um, so that's actually, if you know, those numbers are whether it's global or uh, right here that is specific to this geographic area in the country of the United States, then that's pretty good. That means we've come a long way in the last couple decades. So that is pretty good. pretty good numbers. Not good enough, obviously, but it
Yeah,
is
definitely.
a start, and it is right in, effort in the right direction to help diversify the industry of technology. So um, I have really experienced, wow, that the female that has entered the field of technology, females, when I was coming up over 43 years ago to be exact, was really gosh, non-existent. So I really have watched it grow probably less than 1% to where it is now. And I can't wait to the day when it's over 50%, where we're now the majority. So that day is coming, I'm sure, pretty soon. And
Mhm.
I can't wait till that day because I truly believe.
Oops. We've had a little. Hi, Coach. Can you hear me?
I can. I'm on my backup now because the other one has frozen. So let me give you the backup.
No
Can you
issues.
hear me? I'll
Just
just
doing a
use the
little.
phone. Can you hear
Beautiful.
me okay?
Yes, 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 I
Okay,
can.
perfect. I'll just use the phone. All righty. But I don't know if
Mm.
you heard the last part. I was just saying I can't wait till it becomes more than 50% and we're the majority. Then that truly will be a day to celebrate.
Yes, definitely. I believe that day is coming with more initiatives started by women like you in the tech industry. And I like the point that this is going because my next question is kind of related. Because in that same article that I was reading, it mentioned that for girls, interest in STEM seems to decline as they get older. So I know, I kind of remember that you were introduced to technology at a young age and the mentorship of a tech loving person. So do you think that that specifically has had an impact on you choosing to pursue a career in technology? Or can you kind of talk about how you were introduced to tech and can we apply that general model to little girls today?
And that changed the trajectory of my entire future. So I was introduced, a young lady was a neighbor of a youth pastor of mine, and she wanted to invest in a young person. And I was selected as that 7 year old that she sent to robotics training.
That's really young, 7 years old, right?
That was the age of 7, absolutely. And that journey started and began every year from that point on until even now. So I never had to wonder what I was going to do in life. That really just shaped my future, that opportunity that was afforded me. And every year from that point, not only did I do robotics, but then I ventured off into every aspect of technology from hardware, software, mobile web development, programming, you name it. I think I've done it all.
Beautiful. So you do agree that like being introduced to the field at a young age is one of the solutions that we could propose to diversifying the tech field.
Absolutely, it's critical. In fact, we have a nonprofit that starts at age 7 for that reason. A nonprofit that is training young people in technology, uh, in coding particularly, so they can acquire those skills at a young age. Yeah, I think waiting until middle and high school is far too late. So starting at an elementary age, I believe, is critical to really shaping and being a solution to help building the next generation of technologists for the future.
Beautiful. So we'd really like you to kind of mention these nonprofits and projects that you're working on while we talk, because I think if anyone in the audience would be interested in either researching the opportunities they have around them, we'd really love you to encourage people. So really like where the comments that you're making. So
Wonderful. Mhm.
in that article that I was reading, the two solutions that kind of were generally being focused on were that to increase diversity make a STEM should be made more accessible to everyone, and there should be exposure to role models and hands-on STEM training. Those were the two kind of solutions that they talked about. For example, I can kind of speak for myself when I say that I felt really fortunate to come across a program like Nevada Help Desk during high school, which still is pretty old when compared to middle school or elementary school. Plus, have a mentor who is a female and kind of becomes a source of inspiration for you daily, right? Are there any other kind of solutions to increasing diversity that you can think of or see around you? Um, yeah, that's my question.
Yes, of course, exposure is number one. Like I say, one of the main reasons I started is because I was exposed. I hadn't heard of robotics prior to the lady, basically taking me under her wing and investing in me. So, exposure to the various types of technology that is available and high technology sources to those that are maybe in underserved, underrepresented communities. Exposure is key. And so the more that you introduce and expose a young mind to, then that now opens up their horizons. They're no longer limited to a small box. They can now see, and there's an old saying, what you see, you can be. You can achieve what it is that you see. And so the more one is exposed to opportunities, and particularly in technology, then that is now broadening their horizons to um, more opportunities that they can now be a part of, and not just exposing them, but allowing them to participate in those opportunities, whether it be camps or whether it be workshops, trainings, whatever, classes, um, and not limiting the education system based on zip codes or income level or what have you, but equal opportunity of exposure to those individuals, no matter what zip code they reside in or income level.
That's beautifully put, Coach D. So it's just sometimes putting a specific goal right in front of a person, saying you can achieve this, you can be in this specific field that maybe seems unreachable right now, but as communities start to provide more opportunities for children, more people could get into the tech field. Love that.
Mhm.
So there's a question from the audience. I'll just read it out loud to you.
Okay.
Um, it's from Melik, and it says, can a person also have an interest in non-tech fields while working in the tech industry? What about STEM, humanities, art? So I think they're talking about integrating tech with non-tech fields. Do you have any comments on that?
Yes, I just spoke at a school a couple of weeks ago, and I asked the audience, can they name, and this was high school, and I asked them to name an industry that does not use technology. And sometimes I'm in audiences, and I would even offer money, for individuals that can actually answer that question. And, one student will yell out, veterinarian. And I'm like, nope, go to a veterinarian office and see, do they have a computer in there? And then one tried to say, farming, I bet they don't use technology. It's like, nope, my godparents own a solar farming field and that uses technology, especially nowadays. So I have not been able to identify. And then someone was being sarcastic and said a monk, they can not use technology. But anyway, I was like, that's not a career or industry. But anyway, they were not able to successfully name an industry that does not utilize technology. And I find that to be so true, because no matter what industry it is or what your passion, and your passion could be veterinarian, or the passion could be a quote unquote non-tech field, as the caller mentioned. But no matter what the industry, there is a need for technology to streamline systems, to automate, to really be a part of the first century, and really take part of all of the technological advances that have taken place over the last few decades. So you can be in a quote unquote non tech industry, but still having the knowledge, at least the base knowledge of technology, can really be useful no matter what career you're in, even in the medical field. Of course, there's technology medical, and no matter what you are doing, auto car racers, there's nowadays I don't even know an automobile that doesn't have technology in it. So I
Definitely.
haven't been able to name any yet. So um, I'd love, I don't know if your audience could name one, but I have not been able to name an industry, business, career that does not have some form of technology.
Let's challenge our audience. Let's ask
All
them
right.
if you have any industries that you can think of that don't use technology. We'd like to see that in the comments. Please don't put monks because we've already mentioned that that was a sarcastic comment. Um, okay, so my next question is kind of personal, Coach D, but it's okay if
Okay.
you don't want to answer that. But
Okay.
imposter syndrome is a real thing, right? Um, do I know that you've reached really nice places in your career as a female in the tech industry, and you said when you started 43 years ago, it was a really like less than 1% of women were actually in the field. So do
Mm-hmm.
you or your other female or Black colleagues feel the effects of imposter syndrome, or and have you had a chance to kind of converse about this in your specific platforms?
Yeah, we actually, and I know it was UNR. There was a women's group that actually had some of the young ladies from University of Nevada, Reno to come together. It's like a female tech group and actually watch a documentary on the imposter syndrome, and it reminded me of several things. But I can definitely recall colleagues that experienced, the imposter syndrome, and even I had a godmom. She was the only Black chemist in the city of Las Vegas at the time, and while just really our generation and the generation before me, which would have been her generation, had really been impacted by the imposter syndrome. And, in environments where you're a double minority, can really be difficult sometimes. But like I say, it's great to see the progression that has happened over time. And it was really difficult, I would say, 30, 40 years ago, 20 years ago, but we've come a long way. I think now there's more awareness to the
Mm.
issue of diversity and inclusion, and really, being a more welcoming environment. And so, yeah, there were instances where individuals had to, really kind of act a certain way or put up with things that they would not have ordinarily been up with. But when they're the minority, it's like, okay, let me just either cover this up or not say anything or whatever the response was. But that has now evolved over time. That
Mhm.
there is a boldness now that a generation of women, it's like they're not putting up with what
Yeah,
happened 30, 40 years in the workplace anymore. So I'm just glad to see the progression. And so I can't say recently there's been any imposter syndrome, but in the past, absolutely.
yeah, beautiful. And we hope that like the women continue the way they are and put themselves out there so that they can actually change the systems or the problems
Mm.
within the systems that we live through daily. There are two questions that are popping up in on YouTube. The first one is, do you have any open to public programs that you'd recommend young girls to partake in to increase their exposure, experience, and interest in tech industry? So this could either be any internships or clubs or programs that you know of that you'd recommend to the audience.
Well, depending on where the audience was or is currently located geographically, I'm sure in terms of recommending, because like the group I just mentioned at UNR, that was specifically for women, though, but I'm sure
and I don't know the age level of those that are on participants, but likened to the group that was at UNR, I'm sure other colleges, university have, focus groups, think tanks, clubs, technology clubs for women. I know, for example, for minorities, they have like minorities in STEM and blacks in code, black girls code, and other diverse groups. I know Microsoft and Amazon have created various groups also. I think that's more within their, I know they all have like focus groups, but I think there's more so employee based, but I do know
Mhm.
they get involved in the community.
Mhm.
Some of the, larger technology companies will reach out and do community outreaches with some of their internal clubs based on ethnic groups
Yeah.
that they have formed internally. And so that's just a simple Google um, to that question because I don't know what all is out there, but I'm very familiar of various ethnic groups and professional groups that have, coding organizations, after school programs uh, for those that are pursuing those different types of careers. So whether it's coding or whether it's, I don't know, hardware tech, whatever the industry is, I think it would be industry based rather than just putting everyone in a collective because there's so many. I know for sure there's after school robotics clubs. I know the United States Air Force, they have like uh, uh, even cybersecurity competitions for those pursuing those. I mean, there's just so much out there. The safest answer is to just Google near you, like
Mhm.
whatever you're interested in, blank near me,
Yeah.
blank after school club near me, or blank tech club near me, or blank whatever club near me. And I
Mhm.
guarantee you, Google will respond and yield the result you're looking for.
Beautiful. And let's say you can't find anything. Can we say you can start your own clubs too? Because I know schools and programs are really supportive. Schools and colleges are really supportive of students starting their own clubs. So let's say you can't find a community around you that you can that you see yourself fitting into. You can always start one for your peers to also join in, whether it be women in tech, minorities in tech, or any other specific fields. The person who made this comment specifically mentioned robotics before
Mm.
in one of her comments. So you can always find robotics communities around you by Googling, probably.
Oh yeah,
Um,
there's a ton of robotics clubs out there. A lot of the high schools have them. So that's just say depending on what age group, there are a ton of robotics clubs now that are out there, and it's just a matter of Googling the one that is closest to you. But yeah, I know
yeah,
quite a few high schools that host those.
beautiful.
Mhm.
Okay, there's one more question which is more relevant to specifically today. Let's see. What is your opinion on AI and its dangers? Is it dangerous in your opinion? And then there's one more question about AI. Let me read that too. Do you think AI might be threatening the employment in the tech industry? That's more specific. So, whichever one you would like to touch on.
Mhm. What was the last part you said? Do I think AI will be what in the tech industry?
Threatening the employment. So are people going to lose jobs because
Oh yeah,
of
absolutely.
AI?
Yeah, absolutely. They're already starting to lose jobs. In fact, in my hometown, when I came to Las Vegas over 30 something years ago, robotics had already started replacing people in the automobile industry. People that were making cars and the assembly lines, those that started like in the 80s or so, late 70s, early 80s. So it has already started. But as AI continue, I mean, there's just restaurants as simple as McDonald's now. I mean, robots, AI, that's already starting to take place, and um, it's just going to continue to increase and expand. So, absolutely, robotics have proven they can successfully replace people. And but one of my counter arguments to that was because there was like a stir in one of the tech clubs that I participate in as a professional technology executive, and one of the comments that was made in that circle was that, yeah, but for every job that's replaced, there's another job that's needed in the technology in for programming, repairing the robots, programming. So robots will never, and AI will never 100% take take the place of humans because you're going to always need repair, maintenance, upkeep, upgrade, all of that. So there's for every job that's lost, there's other jobs that will be created also that would be counterpart, that would be equal to the job that's lost, but just in the technology, and actually in most cases even a higher pay, because it would be an in-demand job, especially for a new industry. So yeah, I'm not concerned as much about it taking, because I've seen it happen in the state I moved from, and tens of thousands of people were laid off. And then, but again, and of course, it impacted the economy. But then you see other industries booming, and from that, it now forces people to now get re-educated, to sharpen their skills, to continue to learn. And those that are lifelong learners, like I consider myself to be, you'll never have to worry because you'll continue to stay progressive and on top of whatever the latest technological advances are.
Beautiful, beautifully put. I definitely like the last part of your argument, that like sharpening your skills and kind of keeping up with the new technology and new demands of the industry, right? That's what's kind of going to allow you to shift smoothly from one field to the other as time progresses. Um, let's see, we have a few more questions. From Ezra, we have, how do you set healthy boundaries with the way you consume media or use technology in general? Do you let tech do mundane activities for you, for example?
Oh, I'm a computer programmer by trade, so tech does everything for me. I automate everything. So I
Mhm.
program everything. I don't have to work hard anymore. Everything is automated, all of our systems. But as far as media, I limit media. In fact, I rarely watch television. There's only one or two shows in terms of news that I will watch just to stay up on world events because of what I do as a career. But in terms of and just to see what media is saying versus reality and some of those things. But very healthy balance. I'm very disciplined in that area for several reasons. Number one, I don't have time to just give to the television, and that's what television is, someone else telling us their vision. So I have to be busy birthing the vision that I have of my own. I don't have time for somebody else to tell me their vision. But so I very rarely watch television, but through the internet and some of the news that I'll have to program pop up, I'll stay up on what's going on or anything that I need. As far as social media, very, very limited. In fact, I have other people that are managing that for me. And so I very rarely am on social media. And so there's a principle that what I give my attention to, that spirit will come live in me. So I have to. I have to be careful and guard my eye and ear gates of what I allow to come into my spirit. So I'm very protective of that.
That's a very beautiful principle to live by, I think. Because today we're just exposed to so many things. You open your phone, social media, you're just bombarded with so much information that I think
Mm,
you kind of have to be picky with what you choose to listen to or choose to look at.
yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
let's see. I see one more question from Michael Vinegar, I think. I notice your company is Nevada Help Desk. Do you serve students in other states or outside the country for that matter?
Um, I would say hi, shout out to Tug. Good to see you. So the question,
Yeah,
the question, do we serve students in other states or outside the country? Yes, we have students from various parts of the world, London, England, Africa, the Barbados, Caribbeans, all over. And yes, even though the title is Nevada helped us that we serve students all over, but because it originated in Nevada, we keep the name because that's where it all started here in Nevada. But we serve students that are willing to pursue careers in technology to help them get a kickstart, jumpstart their careers. So we keep the name. Uh, we keep the name Nevada in Nevada Help Desk.
beautiful. I can just say fellow Los Angeles person here, but I still try to keep up with Nevada Help Desk, any tasks that I can help with as much as I can. Beautiful. And I see is that a question or a comment? Oh, it's a comment. I think robotics and AI are replacing manual labor jobs, which means our education system is even more important for all people, is what the comment says. I think that's a very good remark. I thought it was a question, but it isn't. Okay. Okay, my next question, Coach. Are there any programs that we should keep an eye out on that you're working and you would want the audience to know about, to be involved in, to look into?
I would encourage the audience to stay tuned to cybersecurity and what's happening. The White House has issued a press release some months ago that there's 700,000 jobs in cybersecurity, and so there's a worldwide effort to really increase the skill sets of individuals pursuing, and it doesn't matter what industry, or excuse me, it doesn't matter what occupation one is in. If they're on a computer system, that system needs to be protected. And in my opinion, everyone needs to at least be equipped with basic knowledge of cybersecurity protection, protection of themselves, their family, and in some cases, our country, based on the cybersecurity basics, the principles that are taught in fundamentals. I think everyone should at least know the basic principles of how to protect your computers so that your systems aren't used as a gateway for someone trying to get to another system. So the thing I would say in terms of programs, whatever educational programs there are, and you can Google once again, that include cybersecurity, I'm really on a mission to expose more and more people to at least learning introductory level fundamentals about cybersecurity and the protection. I will add to that note, you do not have to be like a tech company or some major, government entity to be hacked or to have a breach in your system. Some years ago, the largest breach in US history happened at Target, which we affectionately call Target. And the enemy attackers came in through the air conditioning unit, and that's a retail store. And it impacted tens of millions of people. They were fined millions and millions of dollars. Millions of people got their credit cards stolen, and that is through local, retail stores. So that to me was a lesson learned for everyone to really understand how to protect your system. And with the Internet of Things, the smart technology, that's how the enemy was able to get into Target, but into their system through the air conditioning because they had smart technology. But my point is, it doesn't matter. I mean, retail, if they weren't a big major government entity or, what have you. So anyway, educate yourself about cybersecurity would be my recommendation about programs.
Beautiful. And then we have one more question. We kind of talked about how to improve diversity, but we didn't talk about what is limiting diversity. Zainab asks, what are some obstacles that get in the way of diversifying the tech industry? Why are women and people from different races, ethnicities not getting into the tech industry?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that. There are several obstacles. One I experienced recently, some people are actually dissuaded. Like some people are actually bold with dissuading people from entering the tech industry, creating a fear, of the unknown for individuals and persuading them. There's some individuals I've come in contact with from underserved, underrepresented communities who their counselors were directing them into cosmetology or other fields and really giving misinformation about the opportunities that are available in the industry. So an obstacle is misinformation, misguided information. Another obstacle is really the unknown for individuals not really taking the initiative to discover on their own. Um,
Mhm.
Another obstacle is, like we talked about earlier, not being exposed to the opportunities that really exist. Another
Would
that I go ahead.
I was going to say, would limited resources also be another limitation? Because I know in Nevada Help Desk, one thing that I really appreciated was having access to classes and tools and people who could kind of expand the way we thought about technology in different fields. So if you didn't provide us with that resource, it's kind of hard to do that all on your own when you have financial concerns, time concerns, right? You made the space and time for us to explore. So that's one thing that kind of came to my mind, a
Yeah,
limitation.
resources. Yes, that's definitely one. And resources can include high-speed internet. There's now initiative here in the state of Nevada where millions of dollars are being invested for low-income families to be able to afford something as basic as internet. So absolutely, resources are definitely an obstacle if you don't have access to the internet. Um, and the resources, the equipment. We have students that are pursuing, and I love how you were so gifted in graphic design. But can you imagine? And you have to give you shout out because you were like one of our star students, graphic design, web design. But can you imagine doing all that on the phone because you didn't have a computer, and how
Um,
efficient or proficient you would have been if you
yeah.
didn't have the tools and the laptop to do it. And the reality is in 2023, there are students who just cannot afford a laptop or a computer. And so they're limited to their phone, which limits their ability to be able to produce the kind of work that you um, were able to produce.
We saw that we saw its effects a lot during the pandemic too. Like just attending Zoom classes over the phone was so hard for students, or having internet access to get into those online classes was so hard. And
Mhm.
I never realized that it was such a limitation, or a lot of people were kind of didn't have access to those things that we see as normal, right? I always have had a computer during my high school and middle school years, and I always had enough internet to keep me going, like on Zoom and for my like different tools that I use daily. So it's such a blessing to think about when you like consider what other
Mhm.
people have.
Mhm.
And one more question came up from Tug, Uncle Gary. Do you help with communication skills, which might help in an interview?
Yes, we offer as a requirement because we employ our students internally and externally. One of the required classes taught by Coach Adams is the communication skills for business. And we make sure students are equipped with not just getting the job, but getting um, keeping the job and being able to articulate. Because the interview, and having skills to get in the interview is one thing, but having the skills to get the job is another, and keeping the job is another. So being able to articulate and communicate in a professional manner is a requirement for the students that we place in jobs internally and externally.
That's beautiful. Thank you for that service that you're doing. Okay, so we've hit the 40-minute mark, so I'm going to kind of start wrapping it up. But one sentence advice, Coach D. Can I get a one sentence advice? It could be a habit that you've gathered over the years that can help everyone out, or an organization skill, or just one sentence advice for our audience. It could be related to tech, it could be a principle. Um, Yes, that would be like one thing that I'm interested in.
Okay, you say one sentence advice. I would say persist until you succeed.
Beautiful, thank you. And now to the a little more fun part of our program. We ask this to all our speakers. I know that you have a very colorful personality, both in person and online, which I think is a good is a tool that not everyone has. So I'd like to ask, what is your favorite color?
Um, I'm going to say a favorite color that um, may not be a real favorite color, but I'm going to say it just for the answer. I'm going to say gold. I'll just say
Beautiful.
gold.
Nice. Okay. Secondly, can you give us 3 book recommendations?
Yes, I can. I would say, and I happen to have them right here. The first one, Money Won't Make You Rich, and that is Sunday at Elijah. Sunday at Elijah, this is one of my favorite books. Sunday at Elijah, he's out of Kiev, Ukraine. Well, now because of the war, he's in another part of Europe, but out of Kiev and definitely there when he wrote it. Vertical Leap, that's by my personal mentor, Al Hollingsworth. I actually love this book. Vertical Leap, in fact, persist until you succeed, is one of the principles taught in their core value number 3 on out of Vertical Leap. Actually, Vertical Leap, it's like a part 1, part 2. So technically, these are one. Wake up, it's time to dream. These are kind of part 1, part 2.
Oh,
And then the other one, I love this. I got this at like Kinko's. It's called Organize Now by Jennifer Ford Berry. Organize Now. This was like the most amazing book. It's like telling you how to organize every aspect of your life, from home business. I never seen a basics of organization, a very detailed organization book in my life. This was like the best organization. Over 100,000 copies at the time was sold. It was amazing. I'd never seen a book like that in terms of really structuring every aspect of your life, from your closets to your garage to your home to your school. I mean, everything.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you
so that
for
was
those
just awesome.
recommendations. Okay, third of all, 3 movie recommendations. If not 3, it's fine. 1 or 2 is also fine with us. But any movies that you've been liking that you always go back to?
I am so not a movie person. However, my mom had me watch recently. We just recently watched Black Panther 2.
Mhm.
Um, and then she had me watch, because she's more the movie person. I'm just like, okay. And so I'll indulge, I'll just, appease. But I'm really
Yeah.
not TV or movie person, but I will, just so I can not be like the party pooper. So, so the Black Panther, the other one is the Avatar, um, and that again is my mom. This is all like her, not me. But and then the last one I would say was the Harriet Tubman movie. I forget Tug. I don't know if he's still on, but we went and saw that one. I think it was just called Harriet. I think it was called Harriet, but it was a movie about Harriet Tubman, and phenomenal movie. That's the last one I went to see in the actual theater. So the
Beautiful.
movement about Harriet Tubman.
Thank you for those recommendations. And we also thank your mother for making you watch them.
Yeah,
Yes.
my
And
eyes were closed most of the way on that. The other, I was like, ah.
so finally, because we're an art group, we are a group that also has a focus on art. Can you just, in a few words, what are your thoughts on art?
Oh, I think art is a necessity of life. I mean, it's a part of the beauty that surrounds us. I mean, without art, this world would just be like blah. I mean, the creativity that's involved in art, and it's just a part of who we are, our world. Without art, it would just be one big blah. So we have
Yeah.
to have, art as a part of life. Um, and that's what makes life more enjoyable is art.
Thank you. Those are really nice words. As a fine arts student, it's nice to hear that from someone involved in the tech industry. Um, Thank you very much for attending. I'll now give the mic to Zainab to close us off, but it was really nice to hear your thoughts, and thank you to the audience for asking all those wonderful questions. Yes, Zainab, the mic's on you now.
Thank you so much for Thank you so much, Coach, for being with us today. I think we learned lots of things from diversity in tech industry and some, insider opinions in the tech industry. I think I shall, sign up for some, introductory to cybersecurity courses for sure. And I will also read the books that you have recommended. So thank you so much for being with us today. And I want to thank Lena for being a wonderful moderator.
Yeah.
And I want to thank our audience for being with us tonight. And thank you so much for watching eTalks. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down all of your thoughts. Our social media links are linked in the description box below. And see you in our next episode.